Welcome back to Eek.
Welcome! Thanks for stopping by!
Hello!
Today we are talking about modern influential horror games and how pop culture has shaped them and changed them forever.
Yeah, we are. We are. We are!
If you want to start all the way back at the beginning of horror games, you can go watch our last video, but you don't have to, but you should. You ready to get rolling, Danny?
Brother, I was just about to try to do a somersault, but I don't even know how. I'm ready.
The first game we're going to talk about, it is 2010. Amnesia: The Dark Descent was released on September 8th, 2010. Amnesia is a first-person horror game. You play as a character named Daniel. And
That's my name. That's why he's saying it, and it's funny because same here.
because it's really funny because his name is Danny and the guy's name is Daniel, and like you get they're the same name, and like but one is just like a shortened version of the other, so like you understand it was like a joke. You wake up in a castle and you try not to lose your sanity while trying to figure out what the hell happened to you because you have amnesia.
That sounds like me getting up for work in the morning.
You're like
Except it's not a castle, it's a duplex.
yeah, and there's these disgusting little monsters running around, but it's just your cats.
Yeah. Hey, what the fuck? Fuck you.
All right, excuse me.
My cat's kicking.
So, Amnesia has been called like one of the best horror games to ever exist. Like it usually ranks very high whenever people talk about horror games. It's been about 15 years now since it's been out, in case you wanted to feel old. So, the most important thing that happened with Amnesia, and what we're mainly going to talk about with it, is its cultural impact due to Let's Plays on YouTube.
I think I know the guy you're gonna talk about.
We'll see. You might. So because of the game's atmosphere, because it's so scary and tense, and there's like some good jump scares, it made for a very good watch experience. And it was when YouTube was still on the come up and Let's Plays started being the biggest thing due to stuff like Amnesia: The Dark Descent. And this specific game helped many YouTubers grow into the fame they have now at the very beginning, like PewDiePie, Markiplier, Jacksepticeye.
Especially PewDiePie.
Yes, I was gonna say he definitely got the biggest from Amnesia.
Dude, I remember I found PewDiePie like when he was making Amnesia videos. He had like
Really?
like he was like not a big YouTuber whatsoever.
Yeah, he wasn't that big.
And I showed him to this kid that I think's a dick now, but
YouTube Let's Players were one of the biggest things to happen to horror gaming. Some people were just like too scared to play the horror games on their own, so they would go and you watch it with Markiplier or somebody, and it's like someone else is there.
That would be my big fat ass.
You're not controlling the character, so it's less scary, and you feel like you're not alone because there's someone else reacting to the same thing you are. Help people who were just bored and just looking for something to laugh at and be funny, because you could just watch them get jump scared, whether you got jump scared or not.
it was awesome. It was a good time.
And it also helped, honestly, just like people who maybe couldn't afford the games on their own, kids that would have never been able to experience it, got to experience all these games that were so popular and people were talking about just because they could watch people play them and they didn't have to buy them themselves and play them. So it definitely helped, but it definitely by no means was a one-sided relationship. YouTubers showed these games to an audience who realistically probably never would have found it, and it was very crucial to the game's success most of the time, because I know one of the games that very much benefited from this whole Let's Play relationship was Outlast. In an interview with Vice, one of the co-directors of the first Outlast game was just talking about how important Let's Plays were to like the entire Outlast team, because it was essentially free marketing when they had no marketing budget. They get free marketing from YouTubers playing, and now look how many years later since Outlast came out, and now you can go play Outlast with your friends and get chased by some real creepy pervs.
Yeah, he's got a thing on him, let me tell you.
Real gross. And you don't even know which one I'm talking about because it could be literally any of them.
Yeah, a lot of them have weird things on them.
Yeah. But yeah, Outlast was a huge one to come from that trend, as well as Slender, Alien Isolation, some more we're going to talk about in a little bit. Realistically, any game we talk about from this point on had benefited from YouTube Let's Plays.
I remember it was a really good era for YouTube. It's like almost like a golden age. I feel like a lot of people. YouTube's a way different landscape now. Back then, people made videos because they like were having fun and
Yeah.
enjoying it and wanted to entertain. And now they're so high production. Like you think
Mhm.
about like Mr. Beast, who is like the biggest YouTuber now, versus someone back then like Markiplier.
Yeah, and like usually now it's like it's not stuff that like people are passionate about anymore, which sucks. Like that's why I enjoy doing this, is because like I'm so passionate about this stuff and I love like looking into this stuff, researching this stuff, talking to other people who like this stuff.
So subscribe because we're authentic.
Yeah, I was gonna say we just like talking about real creepy stuff, so you should subscribe. On August 8th of 2014, Five Nights at Freddy's came out. I don't think I really have to say too much about the game itself, because I can't imagine anyone watching this video has never seen someone play Five Nights at Freddy's or play it themselves.
We've all seen it.
Yeah. But for anyone who doesn't know,
It's about the security guard guy. He's a security guard guy. He's got a job to watch cameras, and they'll come for you. They will. The animatronics, they'll come for you real quick and fast. They made a movie too.
So obviously, Five Nights at Freddy's has become a gigantic series. And a big part of that is owed to YouTubers playing the game. How big is it?
Yeah, like 6 feet, 7 feet.
Well, I'd love to tell you how big it is. How's this sound? They have about 15 games,
Whoa,
23
Nelly!
books,
Holy smokes!
a movie, and 2 more movies are coming.
Dang gammit!
According to Wikipedia, in May of 2015, so less than a year after the first Five Nights at Freddy's came out, that game was in the top playthroughs. It was the 8th most watched playthrough on YouTube, not even a year after it came out.
Lord have mercy. me when I want Cillian Murphy to be in heaven. Lord have mercy.
Lord have mercy. So Five Nights at Freddy's definitely saw its opportunity, seized it, and never looked back. It also brought many games, for better or worse, flying up with it. Games that just kind of copied a very similar format. Hello Neighbor, Bendy and the Ink Machine, Poppy Playtime, stuff like that. So some of the things that these games took from Five Nights at Freddy's was they have a very prominent villain that aren't necessarily, like, I would say, conventionally scary. Like, it's not some big, awful, horrifying monster. They're these things that probably wouldn't necessarily normally be scary, like a man with a big chin and a mustache. Another small thing is just the merch. They've tried to hop on the same wave as Five Nights at Freddy's for all of the merch. You will see merch for these in every store you go to. But probably the biggest inspiration is just the like hidden lore throughout the game. Stuff that's like not right in your face, like a linear story. It's stuff that you'd have to play over and over again, watch playthroughs over and over again, just to try to figure out this super long story, which Five Nights at Freddy's is known for, seeing as how it's been out for a decade and still no one knows the definite order of events and story.
I do. I just won't tell you about it.
We're going to keep rolling in 2014. All right. It's going to start to get a lot more serious and somber. Okay.
Oh, goodness.
So on August 12th, 2014, which was weirdly enough not even a week after Five Nights at Freddy's was released, Sony announced a playable teaser for a new game series from a new studio, and they released it on the PS4. You play through this game. It's a first person. You're looping through this hallway with lots of stuff happening. Probably one of the most horrifying experiences. You get to the end of the game, and you see the credits to where it says Silent Hills by Hideo Kojima and Guillermo del Toro. In just 1 month, PT had been downloaded over 1 million times.
Holy
And
smokes. Yeah, don't people say it's one of the scariest games ever?
yeah, and it's
And
literally
only
like
a demo, no?
it's a demo. It's like a 45-minute demo. But like part of it being because it was on the PlayStation 4, the controller had a speaker, so it would talk to you through the speaker certain noises. I remember to progress through the hallways, you would have to do certain things at certain times. So one of the things was you would have to talk into the mic, and like say like phrases for it to like trigger something to go on to the next one. You had to like look for pieces of something, and some of them were like hidden in the pause menu and stuff. It was a very, very ambitious game, and would have been probably the best game to ever be released ever. That's right, I
Ever?
said it. However,
Someone's never played Minecraft.
however, unfortunately, not even 1 year after it was announced, uh, Hideo Kojima was to be leaving Konami, meaning that Silent Hills would never see the light of day because it was his project and they just did not have the time to do it. And just
That's
this
a
like
damn
little
shame.
yeah, and just this little like 45-minute teaser has inspired quite a few games. Games like Visage, I believe the game Madison is supposed to be inspired from it. Um, they're horrifying in their own right, but none of them could ever do it as good as this 40-minute teaser could do. So it does suck to not know what would have come, because I do genuinely think horror games in general would be in such a different spot if that game had gotten released.
Yeah, they wouldn't exist because this one would have been the best one ever, and then
Yeah, because they would have just stopped. They
never
would have been
made
like, there's
more
no
games.
topping it.
Yeah.
Now we are in 2016. The next giant trend in gaming would come after Dead by Daylight was released on June 14th, 2016. It was not the first asymmetrical horror game.
Asymmetrical.
Yeah, so asymmetrical is when like one person is playing as the enemy and the other, or like there's people playing as the enemies and survivors. Like it's like a multiplayer thing. It's not like Phasmophobia is not asymmetrical horror. One of the first ones was actually Left 4 Dead 2, because there was a mode
It was so
where
sick.
one team played as zombies and one team played as the survivors, and you would just kind of duke it out.
Man, Left 4 Dead 2 was so good.
Yeah, so the difference between Dead by Daylight and all of the other games that we've talked about is Dead by Daylight is an entirely online game. Like, you cannot play it offline. You go into a lobby with where you either play as a killer and you must hunt down 4 survivors, or you play as a survivor and you have to run away from a killer and try to escape.
Was this the first of the genre? Because I know we saw the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game come out eventually, and there's a few other horror spin-offs that are really similar.
Yeah, so the first
Escape
one
the
to
guy.
so Dead by Daylight was the first. I believe like around a year later, Friday the 13th would be the next one.
And unfortunately, that one flopped. It was really fun.
No, but Friday the 13th stayed really popular for a long time.
Did it have a resurgence?
So what happened was, because of the issue with the rights, because Jason Voorhees in Friday the 13th, they had been arguing over the rights for a while. They weren't allowed to like touch the game, so they could never update it. So it stayed very buggy, but just probably 3 weeks ago, as we're recording this, they just shut down the servers. So it is officially offline. You can't go play it anymore. A lot of games would follow in the footsteps of these. A decent chunk of them being from like IPs of like horror movies and stuff like that. There's Texas Chainsaw, there's Evil Dead, there's Killer Clowns, there's Puppet Master, Ghostbusters, all of them. None of them ever got as popular as Friday the 13th, or definitely not as popular as Dead by Daylight. I think a huge chunk of Dead by Daylight's popularity too is it's basically like it's like the horror equivalent of Fortnite, because they just have so many characters in there. They have Sadako from the original Ring. They have Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, Leatherface. They have so many. Yeah, they have so many obscure characters in there, and also some of the biggest characters in there, that it's sick. Another component that I think was really realized with Dead by Daylight and all of these games was that people liked horror games, but they like playing with their friends too. So like when you get like horror games that you can play with your friends, it's like the best of both worlds. Like people will buy it so fast.
I don't like playing them alone. I get too scared.
You get too scared. You won't even play Phasmophobia on single player.
Never played a game of Phasmophobia on single player in my life.
But yeah, since we are definitely in a place where we can be making games that are horror games, and put them in like a in a multiplayer setting like Phasmophobia or Lethal Company or Outlast Trials,
Outlast Trials.
which rules.
I came dicks and dicks too.
Quite literally. Yeah, it just shows that multiplayer horror is like the biggest, newest thing to hit the horror gaming genre, and I don't think Dead by Daylight gets enough credit for being essentially the forefront for that.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. So give them some credit now. Email them. Tell them we sent you.
Yeah, so that's pretty much brings us up to speed on.
Yeah, now they're still making games. They're still coming out, but we don't know what they're gonna be because they're not out yet. Jesus Christ! Give me
That's
a
true.
fucking break, bitch.
Did we mention your favorite horror game in this one or the last one?
Mine?
If we didn't, yell at us. But
Oh, you're talking
No.
to them. Yeah,
I was
let us
talking to
know.
them.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching, but we gotta go. We gotta go.
And you got to go subscribe. So see ya.